Your potential is limitless with the right mentor. Welcome to the Dhanraj Sir Method, Living the Subject.
All right. Today, we are taking a deep dive into something truly massive, something that's literally the lifeblood of a nation. We're talking about the Indian Railways. And it's a story of steel, sure, but it's also a story about the spirit of over 1 billion people. You know, this quote really gets you thinking about how potential is unlocked. And if you want to understand the potential of a country like India, you've got to look at the massive systems that drive it. And really, there's no better place to start than the railways. So, let's get into it. So to really wrap our heads around just how huge this thing is, I've got a question for you. Think about it for a second. What do you think is the world's single largest employer? I'll give you a hint. It's not some giant tech company or a massive retail chain. The answer? Well, it's pretty surprising. Yep, there it is, 1.4 million people, the Indian Railways. That is just staggering. It's not just a company, it's practically a city's worth of people, all working to keep the entire nation on the move. And what are all those people doing? Well, for one, they're moving other people, a lot of other people. Get this, every single day, Indian Railways carries over 18 million passengers. To put that in perspective, that's like picking up the entire population of the Netherlands and moving them from one place to another every single day. But wait, there's more. It's not just about people. Every 24 hours, these trains are also hauling over 2 million tons of stuff. We're talking coal, food, steel, literally everything a modern economy needs to function. This is the weight of a nation's progress, rolling down the tracks. Okay, so those numbers are just mind-blowing, right? But to really get what the railways mean to India, to understand its soul, we gotta look back. We need to see where it all started. So let's dive into the history. So picture this, 1853. The very first train journey is just this tiny 34-kilometer ride. Fast forward to 1947, when India gains independence, and the whole system is a total mess. It's like a patchwork quilt of 42 separate railway companies. Then comes the big moment in 1951. They nationalize all of them, bringing them together into one single unit. This wasn't just a business move. It was an act of building a nation, literally forging one giant network from all these scattered pieces. All right, so now that we have this huge unified network, let's talk about what it actually did. Let's look at how it became the literal engine for India's entire economy. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the veins and arteries of the economy. It's this massive circulatory system. It takes raw materials, think mineral ores from deep in the mines, and pumps them to the factories. Then it takes the finished goods from those factories and carries them out to the markets, to the ports, to the people. It's absolutely crucial at every single stage of the supply chain. I mean, without it, moving all that heavy, bulky stuff would be a nightmare, or just way too expensive. But you know, it's so much more than just moving goods around. The impact of these tracks, it goes way deeper than economics. We're talking about connecting people, about weaving together the very social fabric of a subcontinent. For more than 150 years, the railways have been this incredible integrating force. I mean, they make a massive country feel smaller. They bring villages closer to cities. They make it possible for people to go on pilgrimages or just visit family. And think about it. In a country with so much diversity, the train car itself becomes this amazing melting pot. It's a place where people from totally different backgrounds share stories, share food, and just connect. It's a force for cultural fusion. Okay, but let's talk about the how. None of this, the economy, the social connections, none of it happens without some seriously incredible engineering. So how on earth you build and run something this big? Well, first off, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are actually 3 different sizes of track, or gauges. You've got the meter and narrow gauges, which are usually for trickier, hilly areas. But the big one, the one that makes up about 85% of the entire network, is the broad gauge. And this broad gauge is the real workhorse. It handles almost all the freight. It connects all the big industrial centers and ports. It's so dominant, so uniquely Indian in its scale, that it's earned its own nickname, the Indian gauge. That's the standard the whole economy basically runs on. And if you want a perfect example of just how ambitious this engineering can get, wow, you have to look at the Konkan Railway. This was a project that basically took on some of the toughest, most impossible-looking terrain you can imagine, and won. I mean, just look at these stats. It's a 760-kilometer line down the western coast. To make that happen, they had to cross 146 different rivers. They had to build almost 2,000 bridges, and they had to blast through 91 tunnels, including one that's a whopping 6.5 kilometers long. It is, without a doubt, a modern marvel of engineering. Okay, but let's be real, a system this massive and this old isn't going to be perfect. It's got its problems, for sure. So for our last stop, let's take an honest look at some of the challenges the railways are up against. For starters, you've got speed. I mean, compared to hopping on a plane, some of these train journeys can feel, well, pretty long and tedious. Then there's flexibility. You can't just put tracks everywhere, right? So a lot of remote, hilly, or forested areas are still out of reach. There's also pollution. Even with new tech, some of the older coal-powered trains are still out there, and that's an issue. And finally, it's not a door-to-door service. A train can only take cargo to a station. From there, it still has to be loaded onto a truck to get to its final destination. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's this incredible thing, isn't it? It's a piece of history, an economic powerhouse, an engineering masterpiece. But it's also facing some very real modern-day challenges. For over 170 years, these steel rails have literally held a nation together. So the big question we're left with is, what does the next part of its journey look like?